Hi, Sean Huxter here. Welcome to Sydney Swift Shuts Down the Steam Power Pump. Today we're going to put together some of the machinery in the lower deck. So we're going to start with this fan. We're going to have put a welding machine in place and a couple of other machines. That's about it for now. I'm currently printing the pillar that connects all the Van de Graff machines, and that'll come up next. So one thing you need to notice first is that these little things here, these little pipes, will go into here when the hinge pin is placed. And so we use this as a guide to place this fan. So this fan will go on the wall. Let me just focus in on that. This fan will go on the wall right where that pipe comes into the head. So I'll put a little glue on the pipe on the fan, and we'll place that probably with tweezers, just because it's more accurate. Right about where we think that's going to come into the head. And that'll be right about there. There was no hole for it. I didn't make a hole for it. I just want it placed somewhere approximately where that would come in, and not too far up the head to kind of cause a problem. Wow, that is really stuck. There we go. That's about where I would like it. What I need it to do is to have clearance room for the Velociraptor to clip onto its anchor without interfering with that fan too much. So that's probably okay. I might have to move it a little forward, like maybe here. As long as the Velociraptor's claws can clip into here and not be interfered with, then that's probably fine right there. And so that fan is okay where it is. This now can come out. That'll go in later for real. Now, on the opposite side, we have a similar situation where we want to take this pin, this pipe, and place it into the pinhole, if it'll fit. And it won't fit. So that's only a slight problem. I think that's got to be drilled out. The FDM version fit fine. It'll be fine. I'll just readjust this. So it's just to about the point of here. I need to put the effluent pipe right about here. So I'm going to put a little glue on the effluent pipe. In another version of this model, I will probably have to add more connection points. So that was coming in right about here. And I want that pipe to be horizontal, kind of. Let me just make sure that works. And this is going to be right about here. And yeah, so that'll be about right. And when that is dried, there will be, I'll put paint showing effluent coming out of there and flowing into that drain, and there'll be a skull under it. Now the next step is, now I had a space here for a machine. I've just kind of could not remember what the machine was at the moment. I think it might be another one of these. I think that was meant to go here. We also have that going on the other side as well. There's a space for it right here, which I'll place now. I did make a space for that, so we'll just put a bit of glue in there. And just pop that machine right in place. And I've got my light in a situation where the light is kind of fighting me because it's right where I need to be. All right, and that's pretty good right there. And then the next stage is, where do we put the welding machine? Notice how crude it is in this version. So we need to put it right about there. It helps to have the upper head in place for this, so that you know exactly where that'll come down on. And obviously that's not going to help right now, but when I put the machine down, I'm going to try to fit it to about where this one was, because this one actually does close properly. So right there on the corner, yeah. And I think that is right about there. And I will put the welding machine right there and let that just sit there. And then I will place the tanks just right between that and the previous machine. So that can go a little bit of glue on the bottom of the tanks right here. If I find that this glue is not holding, I will have to reassemble all this using binary epoxy, which is probably the smarter move anyway, but for now, that'll do. That'll do. Place it right about here. And then we need a place for the little welding machine, which is this tiny little thing. And for that, I'm going to use regular super glue because the gel is a bit too much for it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a bead on it. And that's enough. That's enough. And then take the tweezers. And now, how did I place it? I placed it just kind of like so. Unfortunately, I didn't paint the other side very well, so I'm just going to place it like right about, I think right about here is fine. Right about here. I have placed these little circles here to give me some place to put a little foothold for Sydney, and so that'll probably be a small thing. I didn't want to get too far to encroach into that. Now you see how I've left some glue here. That's not what I wanted to do, but I can also cover that up later by putting a little bit of leakage. I've been putting leakage around the set. Like you will find that there's leakage. The barrels are leaking, right? So that's probably going to be fine. I'll just paint some sludge on there, and that, until we get the Van de Graaff machine, that should be about it. Let me just pause for a second. Now we're going to take on the Van de Graaff machines. What I did is I printed these in FDM. So this is the old filament printers. This is the core that's going to go up through and align the Van de Graaff machines. And that should work okay, I hope. So we'll take this. We'll take the bottom, like so. Let's figure out this pillar will work fine. Now, we're going to build this up in sections. So we place a little glue here. I'm using standard glue for this. And then we take the base. And then we're going to place the core up through to make sure we align all the other parts pretty well. This core will eventually go down in these holes. And but mostly it's there to align the print. So I am going to place them in the hole to help me with the assembly of this, so that it's in the hole, and then I will layer on each subsequent part, and that means a little bit of glue on the underside here. Ooh, that's too much. Need to get a little paper towel there. That's way too much. I would love to have some sort of better applicator for this, but I don't have one of those. I probably should get one. I do a lot of work with these glues. So that's supposed to go like so. And then the next pillar, the topper, goes on here. Just place a small amount on the rim here. And then place that on the pillar as we build it. We build it piece by piece. Next layer, a little bit of glue on the underside of this one. There we go. That could be a little messier because you're never going to see that. That's going to be completely underneath your radar. And then the last bit, I'm going to place just around the rim here and inside, just so that it attaches not only to the ring, but the pillar itself that holds it together. And then rotate that around. There's a little hole there that the Van de Graaff spark is supposed to come out through. I want to make sure that's aligned. But for now, it doesn't matter because I haven't glued it down. So that's one Van de Graaff machine, and that's just going to hold until the glue solidifies, and then we're going to do the second one. So we do a similar thing where we take the pillar like so, and we don't apply any glue on that one. We try to place that into the hole, and then we're going to build it right there in place. So we take the bottom section, put a little glue on the bottom, right here, and put that on the pillar. And I'm covering this with my hand because of the way I've set this up, which is not the most ideal system. Again, that's fine where he is. Then that, just push it down a bit, make sure it's aligned. And then we do a similar thing over here where we take the bottom of the ring and we place a very little bit around here. And if a little gets into the column hole, that's fine too, because that will stick to the column, the aligner. And then push that down. And then we take the next pillar, which is this one, the next segment of the pillar. And again, getting a little inside is fine too, because it'll bond to the pillar itself. And that's absolutely fine, because all that silver, poorly printed FDM pillar will never be seen by the public. And so you put a little bit here. I'm sorry, I'm getting off camera because I'm actually having to use my eyes to align it. And the camera becomes sort of secondary importance when you're doing that. And then we place a little bit around here. And then inside, just to get a little grip on the pillar. And then, yeah, and then we make sure that it doesn't matter right now that the two holes that I've created are aimed inward, because I haven't glued the whole thing down to the base yet. Right now, this goal was just to get them vertical, upright, and assembled. And then the next stage will be to glue them down onto the base itself. But that'll wait till tomorrow. No, wait, no, you know what? I think these are probably already glued down fairly well. So I'm going to actually put a bit of glue on the bottom here and glue it down. Why not, after all? That's actually glued nice and solid now, so that's going to hold. And this is all together, so that's going to hold as well. Put a little bit around here. And then place that. Make sure the hole, this time you have to make sure the hole is aimed toward the center, because that's where the spark will be added later. And the spark is going to be a piece of clear filament that has not been extruded. So it's 1.75 millimeter filament that I'll use a heat gun to make a spark shape, and then insert them into the two holes, and then you can spin that. So that's going to be one of the play features. And so for now, that's going to cure overnight, and tomorrow we'll add more things. Good night.